A deaf millionaire dined alone. Until the cleaning lady's baby did the unthinkable. Elias Drayton was the kind of man people noticed even when he couldn't notice them back. A wealthy young millionaire known for building an entire tech empire in silence, he carried himself with a calm dignity that made the world around him feel muted even for those who could hear. Every afternoon, exactly at 1 p.m., he sat alone in the sunlit corner of a quiet, upscale restaurant. The white tablecloth, the untouched chair opposite him, and the soft clinking of cutlery he could not hear told a story of a life that looked perfect from afar but felt painfully empty up close. His world was quiet, not by choice, but by fate. And despite everything he owned, he often felt like he lived his days behind a glass wall northwest one ever stepped close enough to reach through. If you believe kindness and second chances can change someone's life, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Good Soul right now. It truly helps the channel grow and keeps more heartfelt stories coming. Most days were predictable, which is why what happened on a warm, bright Tuesday afternoon changed everything. The restaurant glowed with daytime light pouring through the tall windows. That was when Mara, a cleaning lady who worked there part-time to support her infant son, entered with her baby, little Rowan. She usually left him with her neighbor, but that day the babysitter had fallen sick, so she had no choice but to quietly carry him along as she dusted corners and polished glass. She moved carefully, hoping no one would complain, especially not the quiet millionaire whose presence made the staff nervous. They often whispered how he liked solitude, how he never spoke even through sign, how he never looked up at anyone for more than a moment, and how no one knew what pain he carried. Elias ate mechanically as he always did, unaware of the baby watching him from across the room with wide, curious eyes. Rowan stared at him the way babies stare at something that feels important without knowing why. Mara whispered soft shushing motions, worried he would cry. But instead, something unexpected happened. Rowan slipped from her arms, toddled unsteadily across the polished floor, and bumped gently into Elias's leg. Mara gasped and rushed forward, terrified of upsetting the wealthy man. But before she could reach him, Elias slowly lifted his gaze. For the first time in months, someone had interrupted his perfectly silent world. Rowan looked up with a bright, toothless grin, lifting his tiny hands toward Elias as if he knew him, as if he sensed the loneliness hiding inside the man. Elias stared back, stunned, unclear what the baby wanted. Then Rowan placed his small palm against Elias's wrist. Something so simple, so innocent, so shockingly human. Elias froze. He could feel the warmth, the softness, the trust. And for a moment, the world didn't feel so cold. Mara apologized with frantic motions, but Elias gently shook his head, signaling it was all right. His eyes lingered on the child longer than he intended. Something inside him softened, something old and aching. That moment repeated the next day, and the day after that. Every afternoon, Rowan would reach for him, laugh, or hold his fingers with a joy so pure that Elias found himself waiting for it. Waiting for the soundless happiness that somehow reached him even without a single noise. Mara felt guilty, yet grateful. She saw how Elias's shoulders relaxed, how his eyes held warmth now instead of emptiness. He had begun requesting the same table each day, not for routine anymore, but because he wanted to be near them. Days turned into weeks, and gradually Elias learned to communicate with Rowan in his own quiet way. Touch, expression, gentle nods. The baby responded every time with sparkling laughter. Mara watched with amazement. Her child had done what no adult could. He had broken through the walls of a man crushed by silence. Through brief written notes, Elias learned that Mara struggled to make ends meet, raising her son alone while juggling work. Something inside him stirred with empathy and something deeper, an emotion he hadn't felt in years. He admired her strength, her quiet resilience. One day, as daylight warmed the restaurant, Rowan placed one of his small toys into Elias's hands, a tiny wooden bird. Elias held it like something sacred. It was the first gift he had received in over a decade. It broke him open in a way he wasn't prepared for. Tears rolled silently down his face, and Mara stepped back, overwhelmed by the tenderness of the moment. That afternoon, Elias made a decision that surprised even himself. He approached Mara with written words trembling slightly on the paper. He offered her a position in his company, stable pay, better hours, childcare benefits, everything she needed to build a safe life for her son. Mara covered her mouth, tears falling as she nodded, unable to form a single word. From that day on, lunchtime was no longer quiet, not in the way that mattered. Rowan grew up with Elias as a constant presence, filling his silent world with brightness that needed no sound. A baby had done what wealth could not. He had given Elias a reason to feel alive again. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Good Soul. Your support truly means everything and helps more people see these emotional stories. Special request: comment, kindness lives, if you believe love can be found in unexpected places.